Very good Friday afternoon, evening, everyone. Joe Benigno back with you again. The Older Pain Podcast. It is Friday, September 12th, 2025. The Joe Benigno Older Pain Podcast is brought to you by the Hackensack Brewing Company, I Need a Discount Tire, and Carolina Resort Vacations. You know, we have had a brutal day so far. The reason that we are doing the podcast in the afternoon is, number one, we couldn't get through to do the podcast this morning. You know, very frustrating, very aggravating. That's number one. Number two, after we realized that we were not going to be able to do the podcast right away, we decided we had an issue. When I got up this morning, our TV in the living room was not working. We have 3 TVs. The other two were good. The TV in the living room was not working. And it come to find out that the cable box from Optimum had basically burned out. So we call the people at Optimum, and they tell us to bring the box to their, Optimum headquarters, whatever you want to call it, which has been in Oakland, New Jersey, which is really not too far from where we are. So we get the box, we take off to the Optimum in Oakland. We get there, and the guy in the car next to us, as we pull in, says, "No, they're not open anymore. You now have to go to They've moved to Pompton Plains." What? Okay. All right. So we leave. Okay. So we basically follow this guy to Pompton Plains, to the new location for Optimum. Okay, fine. So we get there. The girl there is very nice. All you got to do is give them the old box. They give you the new box. No problem. Okay, so that went smooth. So now we're basically in Pompton Plains, Wayne, New Jersey, right on that border, on Route 23. If you know New Jersey, you know Route 23. So Route 23 is right there. Basically, Optimum is on 23.
We didn't take 287 back,
right,
because of that traffic.
Well, we weren't at this point. We weren't going back to 287 anyway, because we were far away from it. So we're right on 23, and we said, okay, look, we'll get on 23 going south. We'll go right to Route 80, because it takes you right to 80, and then we'll jump on 80 east and come back up, to home in Mahwah. Okay, fine. So we get on 23. We're moving good. We get to 80. We're moving along. All of a sudden, we see the basically, let's call it what it is, the evil roadwork signs. Because that's what they are. Roadwork signs are evil. When you see roadwork, it's basically, we are going to stick it right up your rear end, suck it up, okay? Okay. So we're moving along, all of a sudden we're in traffic. And we are barely moving. And this is like traffic going on to into the Lincoln Tunnel at rush hour. I mean, this is the kind of traffic it was. Absolutely horrific. No other way to say it.
5 miles an hour.
Not if we were going 5 miles an hour. So my wife's getting aggravated. I'm getting aggravated. I didn't eat anything. I'm hungry, and my stomach's a disaster anyway. We probably sit in this traffic for, I don't know, I'm getting a headache even doing this now.
45 minutes.
At least 45 minutes in this obscene freaking traffic. Evil traffic. It's evil. Traffic is evil. There's very few things in the world worse than traffic. And when you had to commute, like I did, from all those years, from the city to Jersey, at almost 72 years old, I've had it with traffic. I mean, traffic is something I have a very difficult time dealing with. So anyway, finally, we see this sign for Route 19, Clifton, Patterson. And I don't really know Route 19. I tell my wife, get off. We get off, right? So we take Route 19, follow it, basically to Clifton, New Jersey, as I get the peanut out of my mouth, because I just had peanut butter. It's great. Now everybody's happy to hear that. Anyway, so now we're on Route 19, and we see the exit for Route 46. I'm like, okay, great. Let's get off this. Let's get on 46 and go back home that way. So we get off the exit for 46, and we see, okay, well, this is West 46. We don't want West. We want East. We see the sign for East, and it takes us into a U-turn. Not even onto freaking 46. What a disgrace. it takes us into a goddamn U-turn. So we make the U-turn. We come out. It says 46 east to the left. So you make the U-turn, and there's really no sign. But I said, I think this is where you got to go. Follow these cars. And sure enough, it turns out to be 46 east. Okay. So we're like in Clifton. We're like in the middle of Clifton, Route 46 east. So we're taking 46, and there's a little traffic on 46, but probably because of all the disaster that was Route 80. But there's lights on 46 as well. Okay, fine. So we take 46 basically up into Elmwood Park, and we see the sign for the Parkway North. I'm like, I told my wife, get on the Parkway North here. All right, beautiful. So she does that. We get on Parkway North. You get off at the exit for Route 17 in Paramus. A little bit of a traffic on the exit because it's, everybody's getting on to 17. No big deal. We get off. We basically fly home now. I'm starving, flying home. My wife's got to go to the bathroom. I don't know how the bladder she having. She'll go like hours. I don't know how you could do it. It's got to be a woman thing.
It's a bladder from having 3 kids.
She says a bladder, if you didn't hear her, a bladder from having 3 kids. So anyway, so now we get home. So now we're home, and we're like we're basically kissing the ground that we're home. It was too early to light up a number, so we waited. So we're basically right. If I was drinking, I would have had a cocktail, but I don't drink anymore. I can't drink anymore. So she sets the box up. I'm eating like peanut butter sandwich because I'm starving. She sets the box up, right? TV goes on, right? First thing we hear, now we're supposed to go to my grandmother, oh my God. My granddaughter, I don't think my grandmother was having a volleyball game. My great late grandmother, the great Anna Conti, may she rest in peace, probably did more to raise me than anybody. Whatever, even though she got a little loony at the end. So anyway, certainly once my grandfather died. So, but nobody cares about that. So anyway, my granddaughter, my wonderful granddaughter, Simone, she's got a volleyball game today in her town in Hawthorne. So we were planning on going, right? We put the TV on, and it goes right to News 12, okay, which is giving you all the, the news, the track, all of this, right? And the first thing news we hear is that Goffel Road in Hawthorne, right where we have to go, is closed because they had to do an emergency water main break, something or other. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. There is no effing way that I'm getting back in that car. I'm already like frazzled. Getting back in that car and sitting in traffic again. No freaking shot. So, so far today, it's been as bad as watching the Mets. I mean, that's pretty, but we'll get to that disaster too. But anyway, okay, so I said to Terry, I said, you better text Aaron and tell her we're not coming to this game tonight because I am not sitting in traffic. We are not just me. We are not sitting in traffic. I don't care where the hell it is. So I guess she told Aaron, so okay, all of that. So we were going to do the podcast tomorrow after my wonderful 2-hour, 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. radio show. And that's not too long for this earth because, let's be honest, and I'll be the first to tell you that I don't give a damn if it gets back to them or not. They're cutting me out at the fan. I mean, there's no question about it. Let's be real. First they had me, it was great doing the 10 to 1, and I enjoyed it. I did it for a couple of years. Great time slot. Russo used to do it, and Evan was doing it. Then Evan and I did it together a little bit. And then Evan left, and I did it on my own. And it was great. And then I get a call maybe a month and a half ago, something. I know I'm deterring from the odyssey of today. Anyway, and obviously we're not going to the game tonight because I'm frazzled as it is, and it's like you need major drugs now. But anyway, so where was I? Oh, so I get a call from the powers that be at the fan. They say, look, Richard Neer is moving on. We want to move you from the 10 to 1 or 10 to 2 slot on Saturday to 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. And I wasn't thrilled about it. I got to tell you, I wasn't doing a dance, And I said, okay. it was less money involved or whatever. I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. Right. Then, about a month ago, I get a call from them again saying that they are pushing me back now to 5 a.m. to 7 because they got at 7 o'clock, I believe there's a giant a preview show or something for the games on Sunday. And then Boomer's got a football show he does at 8 from 8 to 9. And then Chris McMonagle now does the 9 a.m. slot to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever time he does it, right? You know the story. So anyway, so now I'm doing it 5 to 7. Now I'm doing the show with Evan every Monday after the Jet games. We did the first one this past Tuesday because Monday I was in a golf outing. I was unavailable. Played great in the outing too. But anyway, be that, nobody cares about that either. But anyway, so I'm going to keep doing this because I'm doing the show with Evan on Mondays, Evan and Tiki on Mondays. I'm going to keep doing it to the end of the year. I'll do this 5 to 7. But after that, it's over. And they're basically squeezing me out. I mean, let's be honest about it. Everybody, and I don't care if they hear this or not, I really don't give a damn. Everybody who basically was there, on-air people during the Imus era is basically gone with the exception of me. And I don't think they want to tell me I'm done. So they just keep squeezing me. And I'm at the point where, the juice is basically squeezed out. So, but I'll be on the air tomorrow from 5 to 7. And I'll be doing the show with Evan and Tiki on Mondays after the Jet game. So that is the story of today's Iliad and Odyssey, which is basically what went down this afternoon and this morning. What a goddamn disgrace. I mean, I'm like shaky. I'm shaky.
Odyssey.
I'm shaky. It was the Odyssey. It was Achilles. It was Homer. It was Ulysses. It was Helen of Troy. It was the Trojan horse. It was all of that. All of it. So, I mean, what can I tell you?
I probably
Unbelievable.
would have smoked 2 packs of cigarettes if I smoked.
My wife, if she was still smoking cigarettes, she would have been through 2 packs today. And thank God she doesn't smoke anymore. Neither of us have smoked in, 10, 12, 11, whatever it is years now. And that's not happening anymore. But anyway, so that's it. So that brings us to now. And me now doing today's podcast. And there you go. So we haven't even talked about any sports yet, right? Nothing. Not a thing. Nada. We'll get to the Mets. We'll get to the football a little bit. Little different feel. I'm not going to sit here and break down games on Friday anymore. I'll give you my picks for the Jets and Giants. I had an 0 and one other game. I had an 0-3 week last week. The Jets, the Steelers didn't cover. I went against the Jets. They didn't cover, although I was right about Rodgers throwing 4 touchdown passes. I took the Giants. I thought they played well. I was wrong. They lost 21-6. And I took the Patriots against the Raiders in Foxborough, and I lost that game too. So I was 0-3. Well, we'll get to that. Couple things before we get to the sponsors. Couple things. Number one, may Charlie Kirk rest in peace. God bless. He was assassinated 2 days ago. The head of Turning Point. I'm sure most people all know what the deal is now. God bless him. All our prayers to his lovely wife, his 2 children, all of that. What an absolute disgrace that was. And I don't want to take it any further politically with that. We'll leave it at that. But may you rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. And then the other thing is, how about the president, Big Don, last night at Yankee Stadium? How great was that? And how great was the reception he got in New York at the stadium?
It's Aaron.
Now my daughter's calling as I'm trying to do the podcast, of course. So anyway, talk to her upstairs because I'm going to be completely distracted here. So.
No, I didn't expect it to respond.
Tell her I'm doing the podcast. My daughter just called. What a disaster. Find out about tomorrow. Anyway, getting back to where the hell am I? So Big Don was at Yankee Stadium last night. Got a tremendous ovation. How about the fact people chanting USA? He actually went in the Yankee locker room. Really? Shook hands with Aaron Judge. Boone was there, a bunch of Yankees. According to my buddy, the great Ernie Acosta, he said 6 Yankees refused to shake his hand. He didn't say who. I don't know who they were. Whatever. And then Don was sitting up in the booth with Randy Levine and the Steinbrenner family. I'm sure they're probably big Trump people. Whatever, you would think so. I don't know. But how great was that? Really? And give the Yankees credit for this, too, because when Charlie Kirk was assassinated 2 days ago, they actually had a moment of silence for him. Now, I don't know what my team is going to do tonight, the Mets. You know, when before the game tonight, will they have a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk? I don't know. I doubt that Don would have got the reception at Citi Field, or at least from Met management. I could be wrong. I don't know. But that's the perception I have. I doubt he would have got the same reception at Citi Field that he got at Yankee Stadium. But be that as it may. And I have to say this, too. I was very upset. I always watch Sports Night on SNY. I watch it all the time. Big fan of it. My buddy John Jastrzemski, John Harper, great job. They do a great job here. There's no doubt about it. Eamon McEnany, all of those people, they do a great job. But I was very disappointed when they did the highlights for the Yankee game last night. Not one freaking mention on 9/11, no less. Of course, yesterday was 9/11, 24 years since that absolute tragedy, as we all know. Can't say enough bad about that. They don't mention that Don was there. SNY doesn't mention it at all. All they talk about is the 2 home runs Aaron Judge hit, and the Yankees won the game. Judge is now tied Joe DiMaggio, by the way, for 4th on the all-time Yankee list for home runs with 361, and only 3 people are ahead of him now. And that, of course, is Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, and Lou Gehrig. And I don't know if he's going to pass Mickey. If he stays healthy, maybe, with 536. Gehrig has 493. Mickey has 536. Ruth, as a Yankee, I believe it's 637, something like that, as a Yankee. Obviously, it's 714 overall. But I was very disappointed by SNY. And I understand, I think they're owned by NBC, so, that they did not at least mention that Don was there at Yankee Stadium last night. And I was told even ESPN, whoa, even they mentioned it. And I didn't see that, but I was told that. Ernie told me that, so I believe him. But not one mention by SNY and Sports Night that the president was at the Yankee game last night? Come on. Disgraceful. All right, let me get enough of that. I don't want to get political here, but it's been a rough few days, with the crap that's happened, in this country, and I don't want to get to it all. Let's get the sponsors in here. We'll let you know the next time we're doing a live podcast at the Hackensack Brewing Company. We'll let you know. Don't forget to check out Anita Discount Tire, beautiful Rivervale, New Jersey, Westwood Avenue. See my son Johnny. See his boss Harry. See Rob, one of the great mechanics. They'll take care of you. Whatever your automotive needs are, you need your car inspected, you need tires, whatever it is, they'll take care of you. Tell them Benigno sent you. Rivervale, New Jersey, Westwood Avenue. They do a stellar job. Anita Discount Tire. And finally, but certainly not last but not least, or however they say it, plan your next getaway at North Myrtle Beach. You're looking for the perfect vacation spot? Check out Carolina Resort Vacations, OBLV Unit 2 in beautiful North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. They got it all. They got 5 spacious bedrooms, each with a private en suite bathroom, hello convenience, a fully stocked kitchen, ready for family meals or group cooking nights, arcade-style gaming table with 150 plus classic games, smart TVs in every room, entertainment for everyone, steps from the beach, minutes from Barefoot Landing. You got mini golf, you got real golf, you got Ripley's Aquarium, the Myrtle Beach Boardwalk, the whole deal there. The unit is freshly renovated, spotless, and spacious, perfect for family trips, group getaways, or relaxing retreat by the ocean. Whether you're soaking up the sun, exploring local attractions, just enjoying your time together. OBLV Unit 2 Carolina Resort Vacation makes every trip unforgettable. North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Comfort style location all in one. Call 843-249. That's 843-249-6509. 843-249-6509. Or visit CarolinaResortRealty.com to learn more and start planning your trip today. What a disaster the Mets are. I mean, what a freaking disaster they are. Got their ass handed to them in 4 games in Philadelphia, have now lost 6 straight games. They're only a game and a half ahead in the wild card, just 1 game ahead of the Giants for the last wild card spot. They're only 5 games over 500. This is a team that on June 13th was 45-24. And ever since then, the best record in baseball. And ever since that night when they lost to Tampa Bay at Citi Field, they are now 31-47 since that game, June 13th. And I don't want to get into what was going on that night, but, not good. Let's leave it alone. 31-47. This team is in freaking trouble, man. Their pitching is a disaster. I mean, the starting pitching outside of the 3 kids, okay? Outside of McClain, Tong, and Sproat, the starting pitching is a disaster. Senga's in the minor leagues. Manaea is terrible. McGill's now done for the year. Peterson is stunk. Peterson gets a 4-0 lead last night in the first inning and wastes all of it, and they take him out. Mendoza takes him out after the 5th inning, still leading 4-3. And you know what's going to happen. Even if he left him in for another inning and he didn't give up a run in that inning, eventually you got to go to the bullpen, and the bullpen's going to give it up. And as soon as he takes Peterson out, he puts that stiff Reed Garrett in the game, and he promptly gives up 2 runs. 2-run, whatever it was. The Met bullpen stinks. Is there anybody in that bullpen, and we already talked about the rotation, is there anybody in that, and by the way, speaking of that, I forgot to mention Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes should be in a bullpen. Clay Holmes should have been a bullpen a month ago. And he should clearly be there now. He really. I mean, I don't know who the other starter is going to be. I don't know. Maybe you got to leave Benigno in rotation. I don't know. But Holmes should be in the bullpen. But there is not one guy in that bullpen not named Edwin Diaz who is any good. Garrett stinks. What the hell's his name? I can't even think of his name. He's so bad. The guy with the long hair. Because he's so bad. I can't even think of his name anymore. Oh my, Ryan Stanek. He stinks. He's brutal. Soto, brutal. Helmsley, brutal. Rogers, Raley, You got confidence in nobody there. And by the way, they traded this Tyler Rogers, and they put Drew Gilbert in that trade. How's he doing for the Giants right now, who have been freaking red hot? Right up our ass. And now they're not hitting. And now they don't hit. They scored 4 runs in the first inning last night. The inning ends. They got runners at 2 first and third with 1 out. McNeil hits a bullet that the pitcher Luzardo catches and turns into a double play. They might as well ended the game right there. They didn't get another hit. Luzardo winds up going 8 innings. They lose 6-4. He had to use Diaz in the 8th inning, who actually had a 1-2-3 inning, when they were losing by 2 runs, just to try to keep it close. And then the big guys got up in the 9th inning, and they did nothing. Nothing. What a disaster this team has turned out to be. Let's be honest. And look what's ahead of them. How many games are left? What are they? 76-71, right? So that's what, 147. So they got 15 games left to play. 15. They got a 3-game series with the Rangers starting tonight with DeGrom on the mound. Oh, boy. Tong is pitching for the Mets, right? First time DeGrom's pitched against the Mets since he left, And he wanted no part of staying in New York. I mean, you say whatever you want. For all the big... And I was never the biggest fan of DeGrom because as good as he was, he never went more than 6-7 innings. He'd leave, and they never hit for him. He'd leave leading 1-0 or 2-1, and the bullpen would blow the game every damn time. And he couldn't wait to get the hell out of New York. He wanted no part. He was not signing with the Mets. Not. So we'll see what kind of reception he gets tonight. I don't know. But they got 3 games with the Rangers, and then they play the Padres, who are ahead of them in the standings by like 3.5 games. And these are big games for San Diego, too. So where is this team at? Where are they? They've lost 6 straight. They're in free fall. And we've seen Met epic collapses before. 2007, 2008. This might be more epic than any because it has been a slow bleed to the end of the season from this team since June 13th when they were 21 games over 500. A slow freaking bleed. And I'm disgusted. I'm a Met fan. I'm disgusted, man. If you're a Met fan, how could you not be goddamn disgusted with this team? Really. And I blame Stearns. I blame the boy genius. I blame him. He's the guy that gave $34 million to Frankie Montas when everybody knew he stunk. Right? He's the guy that decided Clay Holmes was a starting pitcher, and that's coming back to haunt now. Like I said, he should have been in the bullpen a long time ago. He got a lot more out of him in the rotation than you'd ever thought he would, and he should be in the bullpen now. He's the guy that gave big money to Mania, who's been an absolute disaster, right? Absolute disaster. He's the guy that brought in all these stiff relief pitchers. Rogers, Drew Gilbert, Rogers, Hemsley, Soto. They all stink. They all stink. He's the guy that traded for Cedric Mullins. How bad has he been? Cedric Mullins. What is he, 0 for his last 35? How terrible has he been? He stinks. He stinks. Thank you, David. The genius, David Stern. This guy, everybody went nuts. He got lucky last year because everything he did basically turned to goal, with the exception of that stiff Hauser from Milwaukee, Adrian Hauser. Everything else worked out. Well, it sure hasn't worked out this year. And he is the number one freaking culprit. Let's tell it like it is. And you can get on Mendoza all you want. Get on Mendoza all you freaking want. His hands at what is he going to do? Even if he kept Peterson in for another inning last night, and Peterson had a shutdown inning, eventually you got to get 9 outs from the bullpen. Really, what a disaster! The Mets have stuck it right up our rear end this year, and I'm gonna leave you with this with the Mets, and I'll get to the football. I'm going to leave you with this, okay? They better sign Alonso. And I know Alonso hasn't hit recently. He's been striking out left and right. Swinging up. He's looking like Francisco Alvarez at the plate, the king of swinging at pitches 30 feet off the damn plate. And now Pete's been doing that. Same crap. Same garbage. He's been terrible. And what was Soto doing the other day when they're down 5 runs? Stealing third base? What was that? Just so he could get his 30th steal? So he could say, hey, I'm a 30-30 guy now? Mm-hmm. And I know the Mets have stolen bases like crazy. And Soto's had a big year stealing bases. But really? Is that what he's doing? You know, you could say all you want. And I know he started to hit more, Soto. And the baseball geeks, you know, who are all, you know, it's all about, you know, OPS and OPS plus and exit velo and all this bullshit, okay? All the geeks, all these guys like David Stearns, who all basically went to Ivy League schools. They're all smarter than we are. None of them had any athletic ability at all, okay? They probably couldn't even throw a ball 60 feet, 6 inches, all right? But they are going to reinvent the game. And that's exactly what they have done with all these bullshit statistics. And you could say, and everybody will go nuts. You look at Soto. If you didn't watch him play every game this year like I have, or at least, 90% of the games that I've watched, it's pretty hard to watch every game. The only guy I know that could do that is Evan Roberts. He watches all 162. I watch probably at least 140, 145, right? Something like that. But if you're watching Soto every damn game, you know that he's really had a disappointing year. I mean, let's be honest about it. Yeah, I know it. I know. He's got 39 homers. He's got 95 RBIs. He's got 118, 120 walks. He's got over 100 runs scored. He's got 32 stolen bases. His OPS is 9-something. All of that crap. But he's been a disappointment this year. Let's be honest about it. He's got one home run that isn't a two-run homer this year, and that's a grand slam he finally hit in Detroit. That's the only one. And how many times have we seen him ground out to second base, right? Strike out again, looking at pitches because he's looking to walk. Oh, we've seen it over and over again. And look, I'm not saying I want to get rid of Soto. Of course not. He is our best player. I admit that. But with all those numbers, if you're a Met fan and you've watched every freaking game that this guy has played this year, you know he's been a disappointment. Now, has he been Jason Bay or Carlos Baerga or Robbie Alomar? No. No, he hasn't been any of those guys. Mo Vaughn? No. But he's been a disappointment. Let's be honest about it. And how about this guy carrying us the rest of the way, getting us into the damn playoffs, and then doing some damage once he gets there? How about that? And I want to get back to Pete again, and this is for Uncle Stevie, okay? Now, I'm a little down on you too, Stevie. All right? I hope everything's going well with your art and your hedge funds, because it's not going so damn well with your baseball team. You better get Pete Alonso signed. You better. And if he gets to free agency, he's going to be gone. I'm telling you, he's going to be gone. And you know Stearns don't want him anyway. You know, because Stearns is smarter than all of us, right? And he was supposed to be a Met fan, Stearns. I don't buy that for a second. Stearns was probably rooting for the Yankees. He didn't want to tell nobody. Who's kidding who? They better get Pete signed. And he better get him signed before he hits free agency. Because I'm telling you, he's leaving. I've heard the Astros want him. Can't you see the Yankees signing him?
Oh, God.
But I'm serious. They need a first baseman. You don't think the Yankees would sign Alonso and stick it right up our ass?
Beyond.
Especially after we took Soto? Come on. He better get him signed before free freaking agency hits. Okay, that's it with the Mets now. I'm going to do like a Mark Levin. That's it. Now we're going to go if you know who he is. If you do, God bless you. If you don't, that's your problem. Okay? If you don't, you should. Anyway, let's keep going with this now. Let's get to the football. All right, let's get to Let's get the local games. I'll start with my team. The Jets are, 6.5-point underdogs to Buffalo. I actually like them. I think the Jets are going to play a real strong game this week. I think the one thing that I think we're going to see all year is that this team's going to be ready to play under Aaron Glenn. And they've had success against Josh Allen before, especially at home. I know they beat him twice last year, Buffalo. Buffalo coming off that crazy 41-40 win over the Ravens last Sunday night. But I'm taking the Jets in the points. You know? I mean, there's no reason this offense shouldn't do damage against a very mediocre Buffalo defense. They ran the ball up and down on Pittsburgh. They should do the same to Buffalo. We'll see. I'm taking the Jets in the points. And by the way, good job by Aaron Glenn cutting Xavier Gibson. By the way, Giants signed him, whatever. Good job by Aaron Glenn cutting Xavier Gibson. Good job. Because you got to put your money where your mouth is. And when he opened his mouth before the season started and said, guys that make big mistakes on my team are not going to play for my team. When Gibson had that big fumble on the kickoff against Pittsburgh, well, Glenn had to do something about it, and he did. So Gibson is gone. Now, he's not going to cut Quincy Williams, who had the big, late hit out of bounds, but maybe you could sit him for a quarter, even though we need him. Maybe you send a little message to him, you're not starting this game, Quincy. So I'm thrilled that Aaron Glenn got rid of Gibson. Let's be honest, it wasn't exactly Devin Hester returning kicks, okay? Unbelievable. So give me the Jets in 6.5. As far as the Giants are concerned, it's only a matter of time before Jackson Dart is starting. I mean, let's be honest about it. You might even see him in the second half against the Cowboys Sunday if the Giants, Russell Wilson and company get off to another horrific start. But I'm taking Dallas and giving the 5.5. I just don't think the Giants, they don't look good, and I don't like what I see from Wilson. But Dart is going to start sooner than later. And if it's not this week, and if it's not next week against Kansas City, it's coming soon. It's only a matter of time. Give me the Cowboys laying the 5.5 in Dallas against the Giants. And finally, I like the Ravens laying 11.5 at home against Cleveland. After that disaster against the Bills last week, I think they're going to lay the wood to the Browns. Browns lost a tough game last week at home to Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. They lost by a point, 17-16. I think they're going to get blown out by Baltimore. I really do. I know it's a division game. I understand that. But I'm taking the Ravens laying the 11.5. So give me the Jets plus 6.5 against Buffalo. Give me the Cowboys laying the 5.5 against the Giants. And give me the Ravens laying the 11.5 at home against Cleveland. So those are my picks for week 2 in the NFL. Everybody, enjoy your weekend. I don't even know what to say with the Mets. I'll say let's go Mets, but I've been so beat down. Can they win a game tonight? Can they beat the Grom tonight? Wouldn't that be nice to stick it up his ass? Oh my God, it's brutal. And I'm banged up. I'm tired. I've had a very rough day. God bless everyone. God bless America. God knows our country needs blessing more than we ever have. God bless. All the love. I'll talk to you on Monday. Let's go Jets on Sunday, okay? How about that? See you on Monday.
Okay.